It's hard to overestimate how important this new XF is for Jaguar. They've proved they can make a very nice low-volume sports GT with the XK, but to survive and succeed, cracking mass-market salooniness is the key. The XF has to be good.
What do you think then? Well, when I parked this thing outside my house, absolutely everybody stopped to have a look. And most people seemed really happy that Jag had a new dynamic design language to play with. But some, myself included, think that the front is perhaps the least successful bit of this design. Those round bits in the headlights seem to make it look a bit shocked, and the oval grille kind of makes it look like it's pursing its lips rather than snarling. But there are bits on the front that I really like you see the cowls over that bit of light and the big bonnet bulge, and also this little bit of chrome that sort of twists into the bodywork. Well, that I like a lot. But actually, I reckon I'm going to stand here, because overall the XF looks its best from its rear three-quarter view. It's got that beautiful rising waistline and a really neatly sculpted tail. I have had people complain to me that it looks a little bit too much like an Aston Martin. Eh? That's a complaint?
So that's the looks dealt with. What about the driving? I've ignored the hairy-chested V8 models, and we are testing the one most people will buy. It's the £37,500 2.7-litre V6 diesel. Bare facts first. It does 0 to 60 miles an hour in 8.4 seconds, will hit 143 miles an hour, and will get about 38 miles per gallon on the combined cycle.
Here's the thing. It gets whipped in the going fast stakes by pretty much everything in its class. The BMW 530D, for instance, will kick its Aston Martinish butt all over town.
But what statistics and graphs can't tell you is what it's like to be in here driving it. And this is where the Jag really seriously comes alive.
The XF doesn't try and compete with BMW levels of handling. Instead, it prefers a softer, more compliant ride. It's still pretty firm, but it's exceptionally well damped, something the Germans never quite seem to manage. That's not to say it doesn't handle, because it most certainly does, but there's not the edginess to the responses that you get from German cars. It's actually more relaxing. You don't have to work this car or hustle it. It just kind of works. It is a great chassis. And this diesel engine is an absolute honey too. It's not mega powerful at 208 brake horsepower, but it seems to blend absolutely seamlessly with this new 6-speed transmission. It's an automatic, but you can go a little bit more sporty if you want. You just slot it into sport and you can use the paddles behind the steering wheel. But whoever sorted out this engine and transmission package in the XF, well, they earned their bonus this year.
The delights for the driver continue. It's been a long time since I've loved an interior this much. It's modern, attractive, unfussy. Lots of things you don't normally associate with Jaguar. The wheel feels just right. There are things to show your mates, like these Jaguar Sense touch-sensitive lights and the glove box opener. Though that glove box can, well, it can stick sometimes. Then there's the theatrical stuff, the vents that motor up when you switch on the car, the heartbeat on the start button, the phosphor blue lighting borrowed from Tron, the rising rotary gear selector. None of this stuff is strictly necessary, but it sets the car apart as special. This will always be known as the car with a great interior.
If you think about it, you worry about the outside of the car because of what other people might think about you. But the interior is where you spend time, where you make the decisions, and this is just simply a fantastic place to be. To be honest, I'd rather do a day's work in here than I would in our office.
This diesel of ours is the middle of the range. The cheapest diesel and petrols start at 34 grand. There's a 4.2 V8 with 300 brake horsepower for 46 grand. Add a supercharger and you're talking 55,000. Though it does have a lovely 420 brake horsepower. The V8s are brilliant, it just depends on whether your wallet's as thick as a suitcase.
I was worried, you know. Jaguar could have quite easily written themselves right out of the history books if they'd gone and got the XF wrong. But they haven't. It's got all the grace and the poise and the warm feeling that people at Jaguar have always talked about but not always delivered. This is a world-class car. No more excuses are needed.